Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be presenting my presentation on the global rise of anime, more specifically, how technology has driven the growth and the ethical challenges that growth has created within digital distribution and intellectual property. Anime started as a domestic Japanese industry, but it's grown into what is a globally influential form of digital media. A big part of that growth came from streaming platforms and internet technologies, which let anime reach audiences that it wouldn't before far beyond Japan. Here's the tension. The same technology that made anime more accessible also made it easier to infringe on copyright. So accessibility and intellectual property protection are constantly pulling against one another. Now, why does this matter? This matters because fan-driven distribution, things like fan subs, scanslations, torrents, or even illegal streaming, creates a real ethical dilemma. On one hand, it increases the accessibility worldwide to people that wouldn't have it prior, and it also increases the cultural exchange. On the other, it can conflict with the creator's original interests, both financial and legal. My paper and this presentation are both going to compare experiences across Japan and the United States, as well as look into other markets with very limited legal access. It examines how technological innovation and fan distribution and copyright protection, as well as anime growth, all relate to one another. And to analyze the ethics of this, I use established ethical theories along with the ACM Code of Ethics. Anime became globally mainstream, largely because of some advances within digital communication and advances in online streaming. Legal streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, Crunchyroll, HiDive, and Hulu have expanded across many regions. And as internet infrastructure has improved, the geographical barriers are shrinking, which means fans are now starting to expect episodes much faster than they were before. Anime success isn't limited to television simply anymore. It's expanded into such a global market with merchandise, video games, mobile apps, music. The overseas market now contributes a substantial share that it didn't prior to the annual revenue, which makes international audiences seem increasingly more important and sought after. That international demand has also encouraged collaboration between Japanese studios and foreign streaming services such as Netflix. Before there was legal streaming worldwide, fans would fill the gap themselves with volunteer fan subbing groups, which are the groups that would translate Japanese dialogue and distribute it often through peer-to-peer networks without any authorization. A very similar pattern has happened recently with manga through called scanslations, which is unauthorized translated scans that are shared online. Supporters of fan distribution will argue it introduced international audiences to anime when official localization simply wasn't available. Many fans who discovered a series through fan subs will later become recurring and paying customers, buying things like merchandise, clothing, subscriptions to the platforms to watch these series legally. But the core conflict will still remain. Unauthorized distribution still means reproducing and sharing copyrighted work without permission. Now, technology here cuts both ways. The same digital tools that simplify unauthorized copying and global sharing of copyrighted works also make enforcement that much harder. High-speed internet, cloud computing, compression, and content delivery networks have all sped up international distribution. And streaming platforms are now they enable simultaneous and multilingual releases all across the world. The WIPO, or the World Intellectual Property Organization, frames this very well. Digital technologies create real opportunities for creative industries, but they also make it much harder to protect copyrighted works released online. Copying and transmission are cheap, and the quality will stay near perfect. And that combination has created and intensifies the conflict between access and IP protection. Technology doesn't just enable piracy, it can also do the other side of it, which is supporting ethical alternatives. Simulcast releases and affordable subscriptions or plans have improved access for international audiences. Still, the unauthorized streaming and torrent sites remain appealing in many regions where free access and larger libraries are just hard to match legally. So, who's responsible for this? Unauthorized sharing challenges the responsibilities of technology users, digital distributors, and streaming platforms all alike. This issue goes beyond just copyright law. It touches on professional and ethical duties in computing. Any real evaluation has to weigh the accessibility and cultural exchange against the rights holders' interests. To work through this, I apply established ethical theories alongside the ACM Code of Ethics. Professional computing standards help frame duties around integrity, accountability, and societal impact. That framework gives us a way to think about how different stakeholders, users, and platform creators should act responsibly in a global digital environment. It's important to consider the other side of this too. Historically, legal access to anime was limited in very large amount of the international market, which is why fan distribution was the thing that happened in the first place. But as legal streaming keeps expanding, it's become harder and harder to ethically justify the reliance on authorized distribution. Now, looking ahead, the challenge is balancing reasonable and the access to creative work with protecting the people who make it. Potential solutions focus on aligning incentives for creators, publishers, and studios with what others actually need. Ultimately, the goal is supporting cultural exchange while strengthening digital governance globally. Now, to conclude, anime's global growth shows how technology can drive cultural exchange while also creating some serious IP and enforcement challenges. Unauthorized fan distribution increases access, but it also conflicts with the legal frameworks that sustain creative industries. Ultimately, ethical responsibilities will fall on the user, digital platforms, copyright holders, and any stakeholders within the anime company, all together to support lawful access and fair participation throughout the entire consumer base. This can be you as a watcher, this can be the anime creator, this could be a stakeholder in Crunchyroll, which is an anime releasing platform. Now, these are my sources. I drew on I drew from industry reports, the WIPO, and some US copyright guidance, as well as the ACM Code of Ethics and platform data from Crunchyroll, Netflix, and HiDive. Thank you so much.